Up you go. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
There we go. Sorry. Otherwise, he's just going to bother us for the entire thing.
I think it's great to have the dog here. Well done.
He's cuter than I am.
Sorry, what's his name?
His name is Elliot.
Elliot. Okay. Well, this is great. The upcoming season, the 40th season for the Belfry, which is almost as old as I am. How did that milestone figure into...
I feel old.
How did the 40th anniversary figure into programming?
In a major way, really. I wanted to put together a season that felt like a celebration of the 40 years, and in order to help make it a celebration, I felt it was important to include people who have been important to this theater over the years. So there's a number of familiar faces that will appear through the season as I talk about it.
Can you walk us through what you've chosen? Maybe you can start us off with the summer show, Rick Miller's Boom. I understand it's a must-see.
Yes. So this is a piece he premiered last year at Theatre Calgary, and he's touring the country with it this year. Rick Miller, who was here previously with Bigger Than Jesus, and also has a piece that's quite famous called Mac Homer, in which he does the Scottish play with all the characters from The Simpsons. This is a piece that, it's 100 personalities, 25 years, all with one actor. So he chronicles the baby boom generation, and with a really kind of cutting-edge multimedia production. He presents the politics, the culture, the music of the baby boom generation, all by himself, acting out everyone, singing all the songs. He covers Beatlemania, Trudeau-mania, JFK, Vietnam, the Summer of Love. So it's a real retrospective, which in a way, given the season and the 40th anniversary, it's a great way to kind of kick things off, and a really great piece of theater.
So that's the summer show. What else have you got planned for the season? Speed-the-Plow.
Yes.
Can you tell us about Speed-the-Plow?
Yes. So Speed-the-Plow is written by David Mamet, who is known to Belfry audiences for Oleana and The Cryptogram, and also for many films, The Untouchables, Wag the Dog. He's also a film director as well. So Speed-the-Plow is the first play he wrote after he directed his first film. So it's an attempt to put on stage what he thinks about Hollywood executives, which is he's got a very strong opinion about the people who put movies together. It's a great Belfry play in that it's smart entertainment, which to me is kind of the Belfry. That's the real Belfry play, is a play that's very entertaining but has something to say. And Mamet, although the play is extremely funny and black and nasty, he's interested in the human psyche, and in particular, he's examining one particular male, and he gives this person an opportunity to redeem himself or to give over to complete greed. And so there's a kind of tug of war for this guy's soul between his temporary secretary and a friend of his who's brought him this script that he thinks is going to make them a fortune. We have a fantastic cast. Celine Stubel, who is here with us today. Yes. Together with her co-star from Venus in Fur, Vincent Gale, and a fantastic actor who coincidentally was in a production of David Mamet's Glengarry Glen Ross that I directed in Vancouver a couple of years ago, that Vince was also in. A gentleman named Brian Markinson, who, if you follow Mad Men, you'll know him from that TV series. Yeah, I know. Good, eh? Yeah, so a fantastic cast, and it's being designed by Sean Kerwin, who was when Miles Potter was the artistic director of the Belfry Theatre, just before Glynis became artistic director. Sean Kerwin was the resident designer here at the Belfry, and she has not been back since. So this is a great homecoming for her.
Now, a little bit after that, I was very excited to hear you will be bringing back what could become a tradition here.
There's a show before that.
There is a show before that.
Yeah.
I'm jumping the gun. So, well, at least I didn't blow that one. So, Michael, what comes after Speed-the-Plow? But before the show, I have not, I'm very excited about, but I haven't messed up by telling you what it is.
We're doing a show that's called Chelsea Hotel, which is the music of Leonard Cohen, the songs of Leonard Cohen. It's a show that has been a huge hit in Vancouver. In fact, I think they've had 3 sold-out runs in 2 years in Vancouver. They've played in other theaters across the country, a big hit. There's no dialogue. It's because of the order that the creator of the piece, a woman named Tracey, the order that she has put the songs in. There's a story that kind of evolves about a poet in the Chelsea Hotel and kind of dealing with love and writer's block and things like that. But primarily, it's fantastic arrangements of fantastic songs, sung and played by a cast of 6 that are a remarkable group of singer, actors, musicians. And they're just songs that, I mean, you know, when you hear Suzanne or Famous Blue Raincoat or Bird on a Wire, they mean a lot to us. I mean, Leonard Cohen obviously is a worldwide phenomenon, but I think he means more to Canadians than he does to anybody else. So again, it'll have a celebratory feel to it. It's a fantastic evening, very stylish production that Tracey put together, and it's very kind of noirish and Cohenish. It's fantastic.
It was great to see him when he was here, and there was so much interest for the tickets. We gave them away on CBC Radio, and the demand, there's clearly a lot of Leonard Cohen fans in Victoria. I suspect
think so.
The box office will be a busy place ahead of that one as well.
I hope so.
Okay, and now to the one I'm also excited about, because I'm also Leonard Cohen. What's coming up after the Cohen tribute, if I can call it?
Well, as you know, because you've been a part of, and we've talked about this, a part of the CBC Christmas Carol reading for many years. We're going to bring back, not on subscription, but bring back as a bonus show our production of Christmas Carol from 3 years ago. Is it 3 years ago now? Yeah, it will be. By the time we do it, it'll be 3 years, which Celine starred in and will be starring in again, along with Brian Linz as Mr. Fezziwig, along with Amanda Lissman and Jan Wood and Jeffrey Ewart and Jessica Hickman. Fantastic showcase for local talent, and Tom Macbeth will be back playing Scrooge. A beautiful production, beautifully designed production. That when we first mounted it, we thought of it as something that we invested quite substantially in it with the idea that we would bring it back eventually, probably every second year at least. So this is the first time we've had an opportunity we've actually had space in the schedule to bring it back. We're very excited about being able to remount that production. We loved doing it. I think the company loved doing it, didn't you? Yeah. And it's a piece that I wrote originally, the adaptation, in 1990, and this will be the 14th production that I've directed, and I have yet to direct a production where I don't cry at some point during the process. It's just such, as you know, I mean, we talked about this, how you kind of think, oh, that, and then you go to work on it again, and it is such a remarkable piece of writing about the human soul and the chance for redemption and second chances and hurts and love, and it's just such a human piece that anyway, I never get sick of it.
And it is backed by popular demand, to borrow the old cliche, isn't it? I mean, it was supremely popular.
It was. It was. Yeah. And you know, it would be great. It seems, aside from the 1 day reading of Christmas Carol that CBC does, there isn't a Victoria Christmas Carol.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And given that Dickens and Queen Victoria were kind of, you know, were contemporary, it seems right that there be one here in Victoria, as far as I'm concerned. So hopefully this will be the one.
Now, in the new year, you have a play by a playwright who's won both the Simonovich Prize and the Governor General's, as well as the Dora Award, the Chalmers Award, the Jesse Richardson Award, and of course I'm talking about local playwright Joan MacLeod. Can you tell us about the relationship between the Belfry and Joan MacLeod's work, first of all?
First of all, just introduce, Joan is here today. Thanks, Joan. Yes, Joan is one of the most produced playwrights at the Belfry. The Belfry has produced Toronto, Mississippi, Amigos Blue Guitar, correct me, Glenn, if I miss any of them, Hope Slide, and then during Roy's time, Home Child, and also the Green Thumb production of Shape of a Girl. And so next season, Joan returns to the Belfry stage with her latest play, The Valley, which premiered 2 years ago at Alberta Theatre Projects and was produced last year at the Tarragon and Prairie Theatre Exchange. A beautiful play about, well, it's about a topic that no one ever talks about, which is mental illness in its sort of everyday manifestation. So two families are brought together by an accident, or well, an incident on the SkyTrain in Vancouver, a policeman and a teenage boy. So the teenager and his mother and the policeman and his wife they're dealing with teenage anxiety, teenage depression. The policeman's wife is dealing with addiction issues and postpartum depression as well. So it looks at, and because Joan is such a beautiful writer and has such humanity, it's a play that makes us see and care about these people that are people we probably come into contact with every day and don't realize that they are dealing with these issues themselves or dealing with someone in their family who has these issues. So a very, very human, very moving piece of writing that we're thrilled to be producing here at the Belfry, directed by former artistic director Roy Surrett, which is fantastic, who directed Home Child when it was done here. Designed by Pam Johnson, who's done many designs, and we're happy to welcome her back. Our own Erin Macklem is doing the costumes, and Itai Erdal, who introduced many of you to lighting design in How to Disappear Completely, will be doing the lighting design. So you'll get a chance to see his work in its entirety with that show.
And then after that, it's the Spark Festival. It seems strange to talk about next year's just after this one has just concluded. And it looks particularly interesting, which seems a bit obvious about Spark. But I mean, I just got a quick glance. What can you tell us about Spark for 2016?
Well, it's we're back to having 4. Since we don't have Hawksley rocking the place, we can actually do something in the studio at the same time. So we'll be doing a fantastic piece from Buddies in Bad Times Theatre called The Gay Heritage Project. So it's 3 very talented 30-something actors and writers who, all of whom I've worked with at some point. And they got together and they wanted to investigate the history that kind of led to them being able to be open and live lives as gay men without being closeted. So it looks at the history of the kind of struggles in Canada. It's also extreme, because they are 3 very funny young men. It's a very funny, very entertaining evening of theater. Fantastic piece. That'll be on the main stage. In the studio, Tantu Cardinal, who was in The Res Sisters, her son, Cliff Cardinal, has written a piece that he's been touring. So this is coming from Native Earth Performing Arts in Toronto, a piece called Huff, which is about a teenager on a contemporary First Nations reserve. So it's pretty hard hitting, but it mixes kind of trickster mythology with glue sniffing and teenage suicide. It's a remarkable piece from a first-time writer and performer. It's a spectacular piece, but it's quite a very strong piece of theater. And then the next week on the main stage we have Ravi Jain, who was in Brimful of Asha, is directing a piece from his company called Iceland, which is a very contemporary piece about capitalism in the post-recession age and greed and just how people, the cutthroat kind of world of getting ahead when money is even scarcer. And a beautiful, sweet piece, just to finally balance things out a bit, called a new piece called 21 Ways to Make the World Last Longer. It's a piece of puppet theater created by James Fagan Tate and Kathy Stubbington from Runway Moon in Grinrod, BC. A piece about everyday people coming up with ways to save the planet.
Now, finally, how do you close a season, and a season with, you know, the added prestige and perhaps the added pressure of being such a landmark year, the 40th anniversary?
Right. That was actually the easiest part.
Oh.
So, because we're going to close the way we opened, with production of Irving Berlin's Puttin on the Ritz, which was conceived and originally directed by the first artistic director here, Don Shipley. And in its remount, and in the upcoming remount, it'll be directed by Glynis. The first, those two productions that happened before starred Bill Hosey, and I'm thrilled to announce that Bill's daughter, Sarah Jean Hosey, will be starring in this remount, along with 3 other talented singer-dancers, including John Elliott, who was just on stage here in the Best Brothers, in Glynis's production of the Best Brothers. It's I think we counted them up, 56 songs, I think, by Irving Berlin. George Gershwin called Irving Berlin the greatest songwriter that ever lived. So it's a fantastic way to, I think, a fantastic way to celebrate the 40th and to wrap up this season.
Well, thank you for telling us about it. Nice to get.
Thank you for asking, Gregor.
Thanks. Thanks, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.